to the show. It's time for some more Renegades games. They're going to be playing Eunited, formerly known as Rise Nation, who have the likes of a man called Moose, Ace, Dazzle, Dapper, and Relics. Dapper's a man who's come under some controversy. Talk to me.
Yeah, there was a MDL LAN where they accused him of throwing the LAN. They played a... It's actually, he joined the team that they accused him of throwing. But I think what ended up happening was he wasn't going to join them, and they didn't end up making pro in ESL Pro League anyway. And so I'm not sure what was true.
It was a relegation match? A
relegation match.
The team he was on versus the team he was joining?
Yes, and he wasn't doing well, and they were like, they already thought that he was throwing and all this stuff. Don't actually know if it was true or not, and he didn't join the team right away, so who knows what happened after that, but he's on there, he's on the roster now. He is a really good up-and-coming player. He's really young, super talented, and so is the rest of the team. Actually, Rise Nation was the team I was looking up for this season, and I was rooting for them in relegation to make it to ESL Pro League as well. I thought it would have been a great fresh injection of 5 players that don't have any old heads that came in and actually could probably stand a chance against a lot of the talent that we have in Pro League right now.
So it's a team that doesn't have name value holding it back.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, teams always have trouble staying together after season's over. I desperately wanted to stick with all 5, but they kept Moose, who I think a lot of people said Moose is like their best player, and Moose is still on the roster. Ace is an extremely good opper. He has some of the greatest highlights. I would check out his Twitter. It's actually amazing to watch. And then and yeah, the talent across the board is pretty good. Now Relics is an older head that's joined the team, but he hasn't been around the block. You know what I mean? So I think he's still pretty fresh. Okay.
There's a term for that, which
been around the block. Yeah, I feel like you can use it a bunch of ways.
I suppose you could. Train will be the first map between these two teams, so I don't know if that means it's a nightmare for Renegades or perhaps an opportunity to turn a new leaf since they just lost that versus NRG. But who knows? One would expect Eunited to not be as strong as NRG as they just qualified for the match. I think there's for the league. Sorry, I think there's a big drop happening. So let's see what this big drop is. Bish bash bosh. Ooh, Sam DRG just won 50,000 points. So congratulations to you. Good luck.
Damn.
Check out the FACEIT shop and spend some points.
Get the car.
What does the E stand for in Eunited? Do we know?
Electronic.
E-sports.
I don't know, man.
What else starts with E?
It's got to be
E-mode.
It's got to be electronic, hasn't it?
Emotes United. If only emotes were United, eh? People getting kicked from teams because of emotes these days.
Oh, E-mode.
E-mode?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
The guy they call Budget Launders, just another caster. Also was Premier player. Okay. The guy who I did the switch with at LAN.
Reference.
Yeah, I did the switch with him at LAN, where we subbed him out. We were wearing similar clothes, and then during a death segment.
I saw that.
Famous moment in Counter-Strike history, James. I can't believe you don't remember.
Oh, I do. I don't know the guy's name. I mean, I do remember that segment, though, so at least there's that, Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, great stuff, man. It was good. Time to go into the game. Let's see Train. Let's see if Renegades can get their first win on the board, or if Eunited will stand united versus the likes of Renegades.
I think I'm expecting a lot less consistency than we saw from NRG as to the way that the game will be approached from Eunited's perspective.
Well, there's a lack of consistency. Forgot to buy Kevlar. Had to go back.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard to expect that level of sort of tactical precision that we saw out of NRG. So that'll be the first thing I'm going to be looking towards. I mean, Train is not an easy map if you don't have all of your grenades on point, your timing is on point, and your basic understanding of CT rotations and so on and so forth. So this will be really educational for me as to how Eunited play as a team, and looking like they want to go for a inner explosion. They want to explode James onto the inner side.
Interesting they're going with this pop flash just for the lower ramp so they can explode.
Lots of fast fire from Azza. Though fast fire with a pistol often means inaccuracy. Can't fire it too quick. Dapper has made his way towards CT already, but the longer, he's got to keep repositioning. He's got to fight forward. He's still taken down. He was a low health player though. There goes Nifty as well. He just put Jacob to this position. Very patient shots from Dapper. Allows himself to get another kill. So we see some cool heads here on Eunited. 3 versus 2 now. As Dazzle tries to take Jacob down. He knows someone's shooting him from the left. Backs off, but it's not enough. 2 on 2. There's no kit on these players, so they've got to move really, really fast. Trying to drop a decoy onto the bomb. And that won't be enough, unfortunately. Moose, the last man standing. He's got full Kevlar as well. Gets a cheap upgrade to a helmet in the next round.
I like how they kept it very simple. I actually think the flash makes a lot of sense for the lower ramp in case the Z guy's spotting. A flash that...
Look how patient he is with the shooting.
Yeah, yeah. And the flick was really good too. There's a lot of different pop flashes you can use for inner. Some have more coverage than that, but I guess that'd be stronger if they were playing close up.
And it's pretty clear as well that Eunited understood they need a specific setup at the end of that train yard towards CT spawn. So that's pretty good to see how cognizant that they were there, because that's definitely something they've talked about. But now we do have the force buy here. Azza could get something if he's quick. I think he saw a foot. Oh, indeed, and that's going to be the frag onto Ace. So Azza potentially could grab a gun here, but it's just his positioning that's more threatening now for Eunited, because if they wanted to make a play in towards the A side of things, you do need to retake that position, really. So now the CZ gets himself a frag as well. Eunited starting to reach desperation now.
They have to retake main. I mean, they are doing that, but so much time on the clock. They have to have a question mark here for the CT side. But you do wonder, what is the mid to late round calling going to be like for Eunited in a situation such as this? You've lost one player early. What do? You've lost two players now against the force buy, so it's going to be an even difficult decision for them. A foot spotted by Jacob towards the B bomb site, and that will start to pull rotation, pull players away from the IV position on the ladder. Though Dapper can't defend himself, and that leaves it at 2 versus 4 as it gets traded by the man they call Moose. A big grenade flying into connector. But with 20 seconds and no control of Ivy, this bomb is not going down anytime soon. Oh, they're blocking each other in the smoke. That could have been even worse for Renegades. An expensive round for them, but they were on the force buy, and they will take 2 AKs away from that.
And we see teams at all levels get ecoed. It happens. In that situation, you would think like it was such a tame approach to the eco for Renegades, and so there was a lot of chances for United to actually win, get away with those trades. And you got to think maybe they were just a little bit too respectful in their defaults. Moose, when he got tagged, immediately left A main because he didn't want to sit around and get tagged one more time. But potentially what they talked about was having 2 people there to make sure that they could trade, and they didn't have that when they left the last guy. And you know, he played a very passive angle as well. I mean, his one job was to wait and hold for a push, but gave his position away and died. Ooh, oh wow! Wow!
I was about to say as well, the only strategy here for United is to get picks like that. This just looking for the long range shots with the Eagles. You don't really have any. Like, your entry possibilities are very tough if you're moving through a choke point, just due to the fact that, or rather how the Deagle actually works. So you're sort of giving them a chance here, and they'll take that chance and get a bomb plant from it. So that has not gone too well here for Renegades. They need to somehow bring this back into their hands, and with the grenades they'll be able to do so. Throwing them deep towards the bomb itself, and it's working out fairly well, but they are losing members now to these weapons that work very well at range. The Deagles, the Scouts, Jacob very late on the flank. And it all came from that one opportunity found on the upper position. However, still able to get all the frags with the superiority in weaponry and steal away the round, but that was way too much damage for just some Deagles and a Scout.
They got away with a lot. Azar, as you can see, he pulled out his Molotov, but didn't use it right away, and that probably could have been used for the default bomb plant, but I guess he was thinking they'd move up first, and that was an incredible reaction shot from Dapper. A great scout shot as well. But it seems like he could have used that Molotov, and that would help to retake along a lot more smoothly.
Early aggression from Renegades, trying to stop any fast plays towards the A site, especially versus a team on pistols. We see them slowly creep into the pop again. JKS, will he have a pop flash for his teammate, or is he just focusing on 2 places at once? He's going to get his head absolutely taken off clean.
Ooh. I think that was a shot from... I think that was from team main there, down in towards the alley or held position. Yeah, I believe that must have been the case, given where Moose was standing. So the first 2 initial frags going the way of United. Eunited, they managed to make themselves another one. This is really not going all too well for Renegades. Nothing going to plan so far. Eunited just getting picks just reliably with these Deagles in this round and the last one as well. Although this round looks like they will be able to close it down, and they're going to have a lot of guns that they can pick up as well for free. So this is not looking good here for Renegades.
It's actually pretty ridiculous. I mean, they do the double ladder drop, you know. Jacob standing in a spot that first stood in at the major and killed, you know, 2 people every round for an entire half. It's just that Dapper immediately hits the 1 Deag.
Which is actually nuts when you're dropping, because the Deagle has ridiculous
inaccuracy.
landing accuracy. Like, probably the worst of any gun, maybe.
Yeah, probably is. Probably is.
There has to be some commentator out there who's been like, dazzle with the razzle. You know, he's got a kill or something like that. Eunited with these beaks.
Yeah.
They've broken Renegades early.
Do you think you can put this down to like just some variance? You know, this can happen. Sometimes you get some Deagles out.
Yes,
you may see a couple ridiculous rounds with it.
Yes, you can.
Gotta keep
yes, you can.
We could have worked on the singing aspect. Get that, hit those notes, James. Hit those notes.
My voice is delicious. What are you talking about? Delicious. Excuse me. 3,000 average-ish. No, that's not average at all. It's more like 3.5. 33 to 3.5. That's my guesstimate for Renegades. Means they don't have much money to spend. So $300 to $500 will be spent per person on bits and bobs. Some with CZs, some with Granate, as the Germans would say. For those of you Day of Defeat players, Granate. Some shoulder peeking, some aggression from Renegades, but it won't work out, as it probably shouldn't in a round where they are ill-equipped. Where they are hoping, where they are saying prayer. Is this corner checked properly by Dazzle? Oh, he sees the elbow. Crisis averted to... minutes on the clock. They'll take their time, Eunited. They want to minimize their errors. Some people will be like, 5 versus 3, let's all go together through this choke point, everything will be fine, but CZs must be respected in this game, as we have learned time and time again.
Yeah, especially on this map on the CT side, there's a lot of really nice ways to use them on the outside area, but at this point there's not really enough left in the way of players and positioning for the CT, so life sucks. Eunited, off the back of 2 rounds where they picked their way to success, now they find themselves in a 4-2 advantage, but up against a gun round of Renegades now. And you have to wonder at some point whether we'll see a more normal looking round, because I feel like the rounds in which Eunited won against the guns of Renegades did not look normal at all. Like, you rarely see the Deagles be that effective. So, or out onto Nifty. Presumably, we'll see better things here from Renegades.
I like that they're not executing off of this. I think Renegades would be totally afraid they do something fast again, but instead they just throw a false exec outside, try to bait out some counter utility, but they've actually held on to 3 of their Molotovs and 4 smokes. So Renegades are being very confident about this.
Waiting for the peek. Sniper versus sniper. That is a common peek for an AWP on the CT side, and he'll make it there eventually, but the angle's been dropped by the Ts, but they'll get the kill regardless. Dapper getting the pick there. And we have 2 people rotating towards the B bomb site, but there seems to be some uncertainty. JK moved away from Ivy, then stopped as JKS had a look, and now he'll go back towards Ivy after JKS has peeked it. Lee, in the meantime, leaving 1 person in the B bomb site. Yusilo with a weird angle, which nets him 1 kill while it looked for him in a normal one. Molotov's out on the site, now gone. And it seems Renegades will save 3 versus 4. They don't know that it's safe to go into pop. Nobody was there, but have to assume somebody is. And yeah, it's been a difficult day of Counter-Strike so far for Renegades.
I like how Eunited kept that very simple. They picked up the kill, and they didn't want to complicate things after that point. They're like, well, let's just go for the execution into the site, use the numbers advantage, and they just traded down effectively, got the bomb down, won the round, forced the save. And part of the reason is because of the uncertainty for Renegades as to like what they're actually doing after that pick. Because a lot of teams will actually, like if you actually offered up a pick in that position, they may slow things down to try to catch the CTs, trying to make plays around the map to just make it more of a sure thing that you'll win the round as a T side. Ooh, jumping headshot. But Eunited keep things simple, and their shots are very much on point. And this is really a defining feature, I think, of why the keeping it very basic works also. If you're hitting the shots like they are, it's a great way to play.
Yeah, and getting telegraphed is just, it's a whole nother element of the game that the CTs can abuse against you if they can counter nade properly. So, you know, if you use only one flash to get out, and that's all you needed in the first place, then, you know, why throw 3 or 4 in a smoke if that means they can counter molly the ramp and everything like that. Also, they got the kill on the op, so they know that there is no op going to be watching upper. And because they get that kill on the op, it means that Dennis, which is probably the strongest angle against the wall, like watching over default on B, one of the strongest angles to watch that lower ramp from, is like pretty much useless versus upper. They came up, they cleared it from the top, and then made a really awkward fight for, I think it was Eustillo down there.
Eustillo shoulder peeking, looking for T-President's upper B, and it cost him 80% of his health. How useful will he be to his team for the remainder of this? Time will tell. Minutes on the clock here. It is a pistol round for Renegades with the saved weapon of Azza. So Eunited will not want to take too long without a kill, because if time is a pressure for them and they still haven't picked anybody off, then this could collapse. Will that pull people towards the B bomb site? Dazzle has to make a gamble, trying to pull rotation away from A because they are set up for A, but nobody is rotating. They are committed to this Renegades, and they are making the right bet, and this is going to be a disaster. The bomb on its own in main, lost now. AWP picked up, and all the kills are going the way of Renegades. Still 2 plays for Eunited, but they have to charge towards a sniper player now in the main position to retrieve the bomb. It's just not doable. 1 versus 2, 18 seconds on the clock for Dazzle. He has to take gambles, and they can dance around this bomb train just as he is. Is the priority to take players away, take weapons away? If it is, doesn't matter, as he gets the final kill.
That money's actually really good for United, that is. And already having 5 rounds on the T side, I think, is a pretty encouraging start for the team that I would have felt like would struggle more on the T side, just because some of the, even some of the basics on train, the timings, the basic timings can be difficult, I think, on from a T side perspective. Understanding how to work the defaults and then so on and so forth is not easy. But they've been doing a pretty good job so far, and this is going to be AWPing in from T main. As we see another round with another default here from Eunited. No pressure towards Ali just yet, though. And Renegades themselves are playing a very passive setup. If Eunited were to try to charge into the A site, all guns blazing, they would have an easy time with no one forward from Renegades. Oh, wow, Dazzle also is going forwards, straight down the ramp, in through to the B bomb site. This is going to cause a big rotation. More frags going his way as they start to charge down the upper side as well. This is looking fantastic for Eunited. How explosive was that?
That's what I was talking about on the pistol rounds, where if you have someone peeking from upper, if you don't think they're going to get offed at least, and you have someone peeking from upper, the lower guys are suddenly not going to be comfortable on top of the trains, and their attention is going to be taken, so you just bomb down the ramp. And they just did that with just 2 people.
That was very scary.
Yeah.
Dazzle really opened it up well as the first man out.
Jake, I'm trying to hold on to this weapon, maybe upgrade to an AK-47 and find a safe place to save. The money's not great for Renegades. They have slightly extra money because of the nature of the round that they won. But I don't know if it's enough to buy. It might buy around the AK, actually. Let's see. Azza and Nifty could also buy the rest if they have a good spawn. Maybe they can get close with a CZ. Perhaps they'll take more time to make their decision, or perhaps talk about something else. Future round, perhaps. 30 seconds for Renegades to figure out what they should do.
See how uncomfortable Eustillo got? They had everything covered, even though he had a teammate there behind him. Him at top blue couldn't take the fight on the lower end. Probably should have, but it shook him up. He was shooketh. The reason I don't like forcing up, like, I mean, there's definitely situations, like if you're down in rounds, you sometimes have to force up because you need a certain amount of rounds on CT side, or if you're going to double save. But even in that situation, if you have to double save, when you come back, you still don't have enough money for all your full utility. So if you lose the force, it can be even more damning than if you were to just save one round.
Dazzle back at it again with these entry frags. It seems like one thing that Eunited have been doing phenomenally well this game is those entries, and he delivers another one. A quick 5v4 for Eunited to play off of in the early round scenario is always a fantastic position for a T side, but will they anticipate the play from Nifty? He's going forward with the AWP. Can he escape in time? He doesn't have time to get out of there. The trade frag is there for Eunited, and the B-bomb site might still be there for them as well.
Ace waiting for the rotation. Some bait going on, but they don't manage to get through Connector. And are they giving up on this round? If they are, Dazzle's looking for them already. Surely he's got some sound cues. Spotting one player towards Ivy. Must have seen a second one. He's low on health though, and he will be taken down. But there's 2 players alive for the time being for Renegades, so this is not what they wanted. An expensive CT side, a brittle defense for Renegades at the moment.
Doesn't feel like Renegades are really fragging as they perhaps should be. Perhaps it's just to the merits of Eunited's ability to just be very quick to get their frags when they go for the entries. And the biggest impact frags that we're seeing, like from the likes of Dazzle, where he walks in and reliably takes out the first player each time, that just spurs his team on to create enough space to get them into the next position to get closer to the next objective each time. So really big impact frags from Dazzle. And now there's 7-3 with against a Renegades that have no money to play with. Renegades must not be in the best place right now from just how the feeling on the team, at least, because nothing seems to be working for them.
One AK for Azza. What can he activate? Jacob trying to get something done, but Dazzle falling back, not going to isolate himself with an AK-47 versus some pistoling players. Last thing they want to do is double the rifles on a CT side in a round such as this. Not the easiest spray for Dazzle, but he manages to make it work. 30 HP left for him, so he will leave the area. Wants to be careful with the AWP as well, but there is rifle supports. So if there is a fast push, you can expect the AK to do most of the cleanup operation. Eunited now after the presence towards A, moving towards the B bomb site, where Renegades did have an aggressive position, but they chose to move elsewhere before Eunited showed their faces. Now let's see what kind of timing Eunited proceed with. Seen a failed round from them before. What is the play here from Moose? Starting to move in 38 seconds, so Eunited not afraid to play the clock. Dazzle going to the point of no return and getting taken out immediately, and there is the second AK.
This is cool. They can play off of the man in alley as they start to go for that rotation. JKS will spot it out though, but they don't really have the best weaponry in combination to deal with this. The AKs are falling there. Now Jesse Stillo holding on to one as he is towards CT spawn, and Eunited will get the bomb plant. They'll be fine now to win the round. 8-3 will soon be the score, as Jusilo is desperately trying to hold on to this AK. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do so. The first challenge is coming, and that lack of Kevlar really paying for that one.
I wonder if Moose's insurance going through Ivy in that position in case they need to abort mission, or just for flanking purposes, or maybe both. 8 rounds for Eunited. Renegades with no AWP. Again, the previous game of Train wasn't spectacular for Nifty, and not being on the sniper rifle is not what you want from him. Early shots from Relics, playing the spawn-based pick towards Connector, and he'll throw the AWP back to Ace.
Really impressed, definitely, by Eunited. Just their ability to stay composed, and they're pulling off so many tricks. I mean, they're really getting Renegades to like give up the opening kill so easily, so many times, and then they're following up with a perfect like 1-2 punch hitting the sights. And here's a round though. I think if they were able to see what we see, I think on a buy like this, you want to abuse outside. But what's impressive, I think, is that they're winning a lot of rounds without having to go fast. I think a lot of newer teams will have to rely on that, sacrificing some of the coordination that's required of going slow and working a default, which is really the kind of the hardest thing to do properly, and just running out the choke points as fast as you can, hoping you entry. Here's a good round that they could have done that on, but they've decided to go a little bit slower.
Well, this two-man setup really paying off here. Both frags from JKS, they will be spotted out there, and there's no trade from Team Main to be coming in from Eunited, so really they've given up 2 players. They've not gotten anything from it. And the time is running low, 30 seconds for them to make a play. Great adjustment from Ace. And that will allow them to get through the choke point, but they still have a ways to go here, and not enough time to do it.
20 seconds, and Jacob's playing through the corner of the smoke, taking down the Ivy player. Moose is there to try and allow the bomb plant, but now he's unable to do that. Where does the bomb go down? Jacob round the back hasn't spotted a player on the high train, but there is Relics. Too many CTs around this site. Ace can't save the AWP. Nice shot from him towards E-Box, but that was a flash in the pan. Pan was swiftly cleaned afterwards. Round on the board for Renegades, and they've got the AWP as well. This was a clean shot. Look how much it's showing. Okay, there was a slight stray from JKS there.
It was a good flick. Sometimes the smaller ones are harder even.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
They were doing the ladder traps mollies, which is like the back and the front, or the back and inside. Oh, here they use a spawn. Wow! With that crosshair placement of Azure, runs right into it.
Moose watching his brethren fall in front of him, and Ace gets quickly picked off before he can fire another shot. That's the kind of round Renegades need, surviving with 4 players in the dying rounds of the first half and keeping that money intact for the few rounds to come.
Still loads of money on Relics. He's got 12k at the start of this round, or even more than that. AWP will come out, and United looking very good on the weaponry. It's going to be a tough fight every single round for Renegades as they try to close this out with a respectable scoreline. Renix will miss his pick as JKS back into his usual position. He's been reliably doing a lot of damage from Pop Dog. A 2-man setup there as well. You can do double Molotovs for that as a tease. Not sure if United have done that yet, but considering how they have been getting massacred there every single time, it may be a better approach.
I want to say that they did it in 1 round.
Did what?
Double
Molotov.
Yeah, they did.
Gob B mollies.
Oh, B mollies.
Gob B.
Oh, Gob B, yeah.
Gob B mollies.
Yeah, they did. I was gonna say that they could have abused that 1 round they stacked up. They went slow. They just did the double drop. They could have just used that, and then if they still have 1 in their default, what we were doing was just we flash over T-Con, have 1 jump out to T-Con right against the train, and anybody falling out of ladder for the Molotovs can get killed.
Indeed, they definitely missed that detail. You always want to see the follow-up. So grenades into B here. They have a fast rotation through Pop Dog if they want it, which they may go for. And Az is there to try to stop that. That may be the tell, as now they're committed into the B-bomb site, but they are being crushed every single choke point they try to escape through. Only Ace to really get anything this round so far with the AWP. Trying some gymnastics here, but he can't make it work.
Kind of hard to tell what they were going for in that round. They did the inner smokes, a couple of flashes. I think Renegades knew there were at least 3 people there, but then they had 1 commit out of T-Con. Either that guy committed out a little bit early, or they meant to sell the double fake a little bit harder. But either way, it seemed like they had 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out, and there was really no reason for Renegades to rotate.
Last round of the first half. Dazzle moving into Pop, and Azza won't be there fast enough this time. Dazzle will make his exit before the grenades fly in. With 4 HP, that is a wise decision. Sometimes you see a T-AWPer try to get to connector as fast as possible to pick off a player moving from connector to Pop Dog. Ooh! That was cheeky, through the smoke no less. Nifty gets tagged down to 17. Can he see these players though? Not 1 but 2. On the other side of that smoke, and Nifty missed some opportunities. That's really unfortunate for him.
Forward smoke there on the upper position. Not sure if that was supposed to go elsewhere, but United with a really nice spread of players across the map now. They providing presence towards B, as well as a pick coming out of Ali from Moose. Solo on the bomb site easily dealt with as well, so everything is falling apart here in the final round of the first half as JKM will have to push the smoke. Never want to be in this position. 1v5 through a smoking connector. Still gets a frag out of it, but it's mere consolation in the face of a lost round. 9-6 for Eunited on their T side. So actually a pretty good result for them, especially considering they won the pistol and then got reset. So pretty darn good work. I mean, there's the Deagles, wasn't it, initially for them that really helped them out there.
That's true. But even the Renegades won a counterforce. Like they won the second round after United won the pistol. So it's just it's a pretty honestly demoralizing half. I feel like for them.
Yes.
Any negative.
Yeah, the game has definitely felt like quite the struggle. It's like some of the ways in which they've lost rounds, but we'll come back to that. The pistol round. I was about to say rage is on. There's no raging just yet, but they'll soon be raging. He's raging.
Got to rage at that one. Only one player spotted though, so Renegades won't burst with that. They will maybe allow them to think that he was just a lurker when in fact the other team are here. But these are some telegraphed grenades, taking them a while to push behind them. Maybe waiting for some Molotovs or reactions, but here are some reactions. Ace with the USP, only good for the 1 kill though. 3 on 3, bomb not planted just yet. Dapper's carrying a defuse kit and the smoke grenades. There is a Molotov on JKS, so that might get negated later on. But that's Dapper taken out, which means the defuse and the smoke have been lost. Nifty patiently waiting for the player on the upper area, but he can't quite hit the head. That leaves Azza spamming his pistol away. JKS is around somewhere as well, playing the high ground area. And now he can get the Molotov out, but the smoke has been picked up once again, and the kit by Moose. Now JKS has to jump down to the low ground to finish off the job, and he will do that very quickly indeed. So a snappy pistol eventually for Renegades.
Seemed like the pistols were a little bit broken on this round. Azza couldn't hit a shot. JKS couldn't hit a shot for a bit there. They made it work in the end.
The dreaded force buy though from Eunited. Going for the 3-man push from the inner side of things, straight behind the push of Renegades, who will hear everything. And so you can see that is why they're being so tentative about, so shy about dropping down Pop Dog. And they're sort of committing, half committing anyway. And it's a bit awkward here. 2 men left, one of which is still trapped around Pop Dog, although the frag is made. But it's going to be quite obvious for Moose to be coming from this position. So does he commit from it? Opportunity for a frag. Getting quite weird now.
Very weird.
Ace can get an elevated position, but if he's spotted, then he's very dead, yes. No Kevlar to help him out there.
Yeah, the scope sound was most certainly a problem for him. Perhaps Moose can get some money out of this round with the UMP. Much needed cash on the CT side. This is a force buy round from a United. So the next one will be an eco, unless Moose suddenly has an eco, a hero play, or everybody disconnects from the server. Even then, it's too late to defuse the bomb now.
Or he finds a Redeemer. Do you remember that gun from Unreal Tournament? It's like a gun, like a massive nuke, like mini nuke. You can pick it up, and then you shoot it from like 500 miles away. You can just guide it around the map.
Huh.
You just like take its perspective and just like.
I do not remember that gun.
From Unreal Tournament, the Redeemer.
Which one?
Is a massive gun.
Yeah, but which game?
Unreal Tournament.
But what was it in all of the games?
The original Unreal Tournament.
Okay.
I don't know if it's in every one. I presume it probably was. It's like the BFG of the BFG is to Quake as the Redeemer is to Unreal Tournament.
There is no redemption from some actions, and maybe Jacob can show us such actions. That was the UMP taken away from Moose. That was the big gun in this round, eliminated immediately, and we spoke about people trying to make plays towards D-Box quickly, and that was what the T's were looking for and what the T's cut down. That is the threat neutralized, if ever I saw it. Dazzle left with the sexy CZ. The kinky bedsheet CZ.
I have that one.
You have those bed sheets?
Nice, the Tigris one. Yeah.
His the little pattern in the middle looks like the Asus ROG logo.
Right. Oh yeah.
Isn't that weird?
There's no gun to collect, unfortunately, for Dazzle. So, ooh, peak IV. There's a tower. Ah, I'm so disappointed right now. But I'll have to move on. There is more to life than that scenario. The place where you could boost through the map on some pigeons or seagulls, whatever they are. Back in the day, love me some map bugs. 9-9, all to play for now.
The Galils are out in force for Renegades. Some quick grenades there into A, but there's a forward setup here from Eunited, so that should dispel some of the annoying smokes that they find outside.
Yeah, they can hear all that jumping and running around B, which is why you have that rotation immediately into the B bomb site. They've given the game away the T's, but they're still going to get 2 for 2 out of it. We'll see who that favors soon. The Molotov, sorry, the bomb will get planted. I was wondering if the Molotov was flying in that direction, but I don't know if they had the position for it, didn't have the Molotov anyway. Dapper making his way in connector. One at the back of B, one above. JKS with the off angle. Will he peek it though? Ace taken down. Ustilo with a huge flank, and that might be the round. Or will it? Moose still in position, but Dapper can't really help him. And there isn't a kit on either of these players, so they might need to give it up. But Dapper's moving in as Moose moves away. So I wonder what he's going for in this situation.
No one had a kit. This is very confusing. Why did Renegades have like less of a buy on this round than United did? They had 2 Galils. Did they not win the last round?
They got loads of money. I don't know, maybe they just felt like they didn't need
Oh,
AKs,
they
but
just
I
kept them. Oh, I see.
Yeah. With the amount of money that they have, I can see why they would upgrade, but at the same time they ran a fast play, so I can also see why they wouldn't upgrade from that perspective.
That round from Eunited is the reason I don't like forcing on the second round for CT side on train, just because even on their buy they didn't have enough money for their kits. They would have gone for that retake if they had even just 1 kit on them.
Yeah.
Or even one they could pick up. I don't think anybody had one.
Really fast round here from Renegades, just rushing up alley, trying to split with the players out of the T connector. So far going pretty well. Redix with the Eagle, not able to do too much. Nice shooting there from J Chem. Will be clearing out any of the CTs remaining on the A site. Now it's just a rotation in, and they are being all eliminated slowly but surely. You'd love to see it. Really fast, clean, anti-eco type round here from Renegades. Cheeky frag from Dazzle.
Wow, he got down there without making a sound. I didn't know you could do that. I'm sure he just fell off the spindle.
You could just let go of crouch when you fall. I think you just silent drop.
Okay, well there it is. Launder's fellow Counter-Strike nerd. I think we should have like honorary diplomas for just how nerdy we are about CSGO. Where's my honorary diploma, damn it? Or whatever it is that they give people.
There's like a place between where you're in the air before you touch the ground, where you can let go of crouch and the game doesn't know whether you're standing or in the air.
Suddenly you're Michael Jackson. 11-9, both teams on the bye. Double sniper rifles for Eunited. Presumably a wallbang being attempted by Ace. The second one is on Mr. Skylar elsewhere. So far so good for Eunited. Lots of player, but they've taken 2. Moose spotting a third. Azza taken out in a trade as Dapper has fallen. Both snipers are still in play for the time being. But against 2 AKs, you wonder if they'll be dynamic enough. Apparently so. Dazzle with the AK will pick off Ustilo from above Ivy, and then there's Relics to finish things off. Eunited surviving with 3 players, can drop for the other ones. But Renegades still have the cash.
It is incredibly hard to stay coordinated versus fast outside takes when good teams throw all the appropriate nades. And Moose played a spot really nicely there at Sandwich to get his kills. Like
Moose.
He went to move up on the train. So that was cool.
Where do you stand on Moose? as in the animal.
How much do I like it?
But where do you just stand on moose?
As a Canadian.
As a Canadian, yeah.
Yeah. I think they're ugly, but...
Wow. You judgmental.
I don't...
I thought you were nice with that haircut. Apparently not. Apparently it's all a facade.
I mean, I still like ugly things, so... I don't know.
Okay, well, I can take that. 11 to 10. Minute 10 on the clock here. Now there's a third sniper rifle joining the fray. As it was facing the wall there, not because he's been told off, but in case there was a pop flash from the CT side. And Renegades with some flashes of their own. A third man now joining them towards Ivy, but the bomb is near pop. And then they've got one player above B keeping the CTs honest. What is the play here from Renegades?
Yeah, really slow rounds.
Oh god. Are they going to split through CT? This is my least favorite B take. There's so many ways to die.
The AWP is there as well. They will trade ace out, but how far can they get to make this split a reality? It would be quite confusing perhaps for Eunited, but they will hear all the stepping here because it's running all the way from Azza and Co. He will be able to get the frag though as well as Nifty. Dazzle can't do much from the B-bomb side either, so systematically they are just going to get wiped out. So despite the fact it was fairly telegraphed, Renegades run and gun their way to success.
Yeah, Relic's missed though, and he re-peeked and then he missed, so that's when it's especially bad. Sometimes you just have to hit your shot, especially if you commit to the re-peek.
Yeah, the pre-fire from Azza was nice. Very obvious timing. Sometimes you've got to be erratic on the re-peek with the AWP, so you don't get your face taken off. That's an expensive round for Eunited, and their money's not going to be in the best place. Renegades, I mean, we're in the late rounds of this match, so might be our first victory for Renegades if they can steady the ship. Where is that bell?
The bell outside. It's above T main, right? Yeah.
I did not know that.
You can shoot it and it dings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just ruined train for all my teammates. It's game over.
It's gonna buy a Negev.
Ring dings. That's my win streak, or not really streak, but going back to the 14 losses now. Ding dong ding. I'm pleased by very basic things.
So what's ugly that you like then, Launders? What's an ugly thing that you like, following on from earlier?
There's nothing that I like because it's ugly.
Okay.
It's just not something that I hold against anything.
But what is an ugly thing you like since you're judgmental? You could say eggs. Eggs are not really...
I think eggs are aesthetically nice. I like eggs.
Really?
Eggs are pretty
Very
pleasing to the eyes.
Pleasing to the eyes.
I mean, they're...
You've gone a bit too
They're
far
this
there,
weird,
Dan.
like, obelisk, like, spherical...
Yeah, and it's always a pretty clean shape.
Dan is pleased by eggs. That's what we've learned today.
Yeah.
12 to 10 in favour of Renegades, but they've lost a player early. Pop Dog's been smoked off. United would love to get their hands on a second weapon. Any damage they can do would be fantastic for them. Dazzle with a push looking for information. But what can they do off that? Pop flash into main, and there it goes. Azza, problems arising for Renegades. Tapper looking for some information towards main, but doing nothing with it. Jacob, that might be confused for the bomb. Interestingly enough, that's a huge warbang from Nifty. He hit the target there. 3 on 3. So
loads of time here to make things even more interesting, and the flank is found and neutralized by Nifty. Well, that's the biggest danger out of the way. Moose with low health and an M4 and an Eagle for Relics. Not a good look for United. Renegades, all they need to do is go together. They should be fine. Although, it is a Deagle, and I feel like in CSGO these days you can't really ever count it out. Ooh, that could have been it though. That could have been the shots. Turning away though, and is punished ultimately by JK as the round will be won here by Renegades. And United not in a good position, that's to say for sure. What's wrong with eggs? Don't disagree with me, you're the other one out here. It's a nice shape. Shape's pleasing.
Doesn't it like come out of a chicken's ass or something?
I didn't think about that.
No, James, it doesn't.
What about hippo? Do you think a hippo's ugly?
Yeah.
It's not ugly. It's just big.
You have to respect hippos though. They will mess you up.
Have you seen how fast they can swim?
They can run at like 40 miles an hour or something.
Nature is scary,
that's
man.
a straw man. Like how fast I can swim has nothing to do with how pretty it is.
Ace has been taken out, moving up the ladder in the A site. Problems arising for Eunited. 3 versus 5, and the A site is swiftly being taken by Renegades. Molotov, smoke grenades, stopping them from hiding close to the bomb train, but it won't stop Skylar from getting some kills. 4 versus 2. Dapper and Dazzle remain. Dapper's position known, and now he's man gone. Dazzle getting one for free. 1 versus 3 though. What options does he have in this situation? Suggesting he's running away, perhaps inviting somebody to come at him, but he's reloaded, and they might have heard that with JKS's position.
How about Pingu? Pingu's ugly, but I like Pingu.
Shut up.
Penguins are cute, man.
No, Pingu.
You think Pingu's cute?
Pingu's a beast. A beautiful one. He said, "What's my favorite superhero?" And I said, "It's Inspector Gadget and Pingu."
No, first he said, "Is Pingu a superhero?" Which is just so absurd.
Pingu is a superhero, but hippos are not ugly; they're just large.
Okay.
They're cute.
Actually, I did see a picture of a baby hippo that was
They're quite aggressive, aren't they? Like they.
Yeah, they're crazy.
You can't
really
mess with
aggressive.
hippos.
They're crazy. They terrorize. There's some land animal that they're actually stronger than. I think they're stronger than crocodiles, even one-on-one. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no one messes with hippos. Not even lions.
Yeah.
Pistol round for Eunited, and they're going to be facing match point here. But they have little choice at this juncture, or do they? The Deagle coming into play, and Renegades have to move quickly. They are not in a position where they can stop those guns from being collected. Dapper's got an AWP, Ace with an AK. Surely they will swap, and now Moose has got an AK as well. Very little to lose, depending on their loss bonus, in going for this. But if one player is lost, perhaps they will choose to save the rest of it. They don't have a kit, obviously. Pop flash coming in. And there's one player taken down. Will they commit to this now? They will. The double peek is good enough. Now it's the 1 versus 2. JKS is going to get both of them for absolute gratis.
Oh, no.
Match point Renegades.
Oh, no. That's so sad to see, isn't it? They're like, well, they're TV1. They can trade. They can fly.
I just had no idea that was going to happen.
That's a shame. They went honey badger mode in that round until that point.
Also not cute.
Whoa.
Honey badgers are not cute, though.
I think anything that a hippo would beat or would not be able to beat up can't be cute. Is that fair?
We'll come back to this.
Okay.
Match point Renegades, and Ace is going for a very aggressive peek, and the erratic jumping will make him miss the mark. Very hard to track somebody moving like that. Dapper, though, will deliver a kill elsewhere. His turn on the AWP.
It gets interesting now for Renegades because they're in a spot where maybe it only really serves them to slow things down a little bit just to get more positioning. But you can see JKS going for a forward play, running into the AWP, and falls back to the point that Launders was making before about how that position is only strong for the T's if there's no AWP, but there are AWPs everywhere for Eunited. And this round is really not looking good. There's people walking out and dying, more or less, for Renegades. It's not all that aesthetically pleasing.
This is really nice for Eunited because not only will they be able to rebow their nades, they keep the double op as well. It's a new problem for Renegades to have to deal with. And surprisingly, Eunited have done a good job. They were able to stop a fast outside rush, which is one of the real difficult tests, I feel like. And then it was kind of the slow rounds that was a big problem, but then also Renegades had a fast outside through Ivy that was also very strong versus Eunited. But I think that might have been an anti-eco. Either way, they've had a bunch of looks that they've used, and I think that's been the biggest problem for Eunited. That's where the experience comes in. Just like the amount of coordinated looks that you have on T side. Just if, oh, you solve this problem, what about this problem? What about this problem? What about this problem? Whereas a lot of newer teams or lower level teams are a little bit more one-dimensional. And so when they get figured out, that's when the experienced team wins.
Yeah, and this is sort of what I was hoping for Renegades that would happen, is some of that consistency of approach and just a larger degree of depth that it would eventually, if enough rounds have played, if enough decisions have happened, that eventually they sort of come out on top there. Because again, you know, going back to the rounds, 2 rounds consecutively won by United with the Eagles, again, it's just not something that happens very often, so definitely a bit of variance playing off there for them. But Renegades stabilizing, righting the ship. Now it's down to these orbs to prevent doom and gloom on train for Eunited. Dapper can't get much done here. Some responsible grenades, James. Pushing them away.
Use grenades responsibly. We used grenades once, and then the fire brigade came
Yeah, it wasn't responsible.
to our office.
I did no damage.
That's so weird.
It's because the wall. Oh my god.
That's so weird.
That's messed up.
We used smoke grenades, and it set off someone else's smoke alarm, not even ours.
Yeah.
Filled their office with smoke, which was amusing. 1 minute mark, and there are 3 Ts towards the Ivy position. What is the play from Renegades? No presence towards the B bomb site. 4 CTs in A. Off angles being held towards the Ivy positions, but they're smoked off. And the amount of grenades will maybe suggest that there's more than one person here. That's gravitating the CTs towards the Ivy position. There's bomb spotted and Jacob picked off, and Relix is here looking for the 2K, and he will land it. The 3K from Relix, almost a 4th. JKS left alone here, fighting to take the match for his side, but it won't be on this occasion. What does this mean for the money of Renegades? Doesn't mean much. That's good. No bomb plant, otherwise they might have been able to buy. Wouldn't have been the best buy, but they are almost definitely on an eco now.
They were so incredibly well positioned for Ivy. I'm not even sure why exactly, but it seemed like Renegades weren't giving up on their presence. But they had Dapper on one side, Ace on the other side, the 2 ops there. That's actually a really strange setup for the CTs to have both their ops outside like that, and both ready for the crossfire at Ivy as well. And then Relics to rifle, and it's him of all people to get 3 kills, even though he's got just the rifle.
Everything was perfect somehow. Dazzle looking for the spray. That's not a perfect spray, but he'll still be alive. And the P50 comes out, and they can't really kill him, so that's fine. But the bomb goes down to reinforce their economy, and really that's all that they could have hoped for in this situation in the bomb round. They no longer care about United's economy; they just care about their own. That's hilarious.
That's got to make him laugh. That must. Well then, Renegades, we are close to last chance saloon. The bell for last orders has almost been rung. Can this be taken in normal time? This is the, well, the best of these 2 opportunities for them to do it. Looking for their first win of the day and their 3rd match of the day, Renegades. And Eunited perhaps looking to shock the world.
I think beyond the default or just whatever they feel like they need to do to make sure that they're unpredictable, I think they should try to go back to B on a B pop, because if there's the 2 ops here and they haven't solved this problem and they're strong outside, and oh, Dapper's got so much info though for them. So it depends what happens here on the default. But going back to inner, if they do that, I think the retake's going to be that much more difficult since they have the 2 ops. And I think as long as they have the appropriate smokes, they can nullify any opera down there. Oh, they're very aggressive inner though. Or 3, sorry, they're stacked up.
It's going to work out fairly well, at least initially. Oh, the stepping out by Relics. No one to spot for his position up close. He's going to be so perfect with which directions he chooses to take at which times, as Ace is going to be there in the back for support. The flash is good though. He's still able to capitalize as the bomb can be planted now. 2 players left for the CT side, one of which is very far away on the flank. That's Moose. This is not going to be easy here for United. Renegades should have this. There's Moose from the back. Discarded though. And that will be that. 16-13. Renegades with a victory, and that's got to feel refreshing, not only after the 2 losses against NRG, but also just due to the fact that they had a horrible start against Eunited.
Yeah. 9 rounds is a fantastic half for United. I feel like a lot of teams, you see them get lucky, and it's hard to say they could do it again. I think in that half, though, apart from the early rounds with the deagle shots that maybe were a little bit fortunate, they had a lot of consistent ways, I think, to hit inner and outer, and they really did a great job putting tons of pressure on Renegades as we're seeing in some of these rounds in the replay right now.
Great work by Jacob from start, well, almost start to finish during that one. Delivered a lot of kills for his team, as we'll see when we get to the stats page. But I think we saw some interesting things from Eunited on Train. Was one of our longer maps today. That was a great wallbang from Nifty, and it's a highlight where they won the round, which is always won the game. Sorry, which is always good. Cobble will be the next map between these two sides. So not the most spectacular map for sniper rifle explosions, but we'll see how it goes. But for now, Renegades, they go 1 for 2 of their 4 matches today. We see Dazzle with a perfect 100 ADR, but not enough, unfortunately. Jacob up there with 22 kills and 19 deaths. So the new man on Renegades wearing the hat well.
Yeah, a lot of damage out there for United. Overall, how did you feel about them there, Mr. Launders?
Like, again, T side I think was like a consistent thing they could use a lot. I liked how simple they kept it, as we talked about over and over again. I think on CT side I probably wouldn't have forced on the second round, though a lot of teams do. I just generally think that's probably not a good idea for the Train, just because I think a lot of times you talk about what you do on your full buy, and that consists of having your full nade set. And so, especially if you're coming in as like a newer team, you should really rely on doing really well on your full buys with your rifles and all your utility, and trying to maximize the amount of times that you have those rounds. So that sometimes means not forcing on the second round, and but otherwise still pretty good. You know, they stopped a fast outer. There's a lot of close rounds.
Cobblestone will be the last and final map of the day between these two teams. That is coming up in just a few minutes. We will see you back here after the break.